Choose one.
Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Okay, so going back into the video, when it comes to this particular series, this particular cycle, the transformations are needed. 1 or 2 of them are needed, but the rest of them just for edification, learning purposes. So a couple of these first, transformations again are just for us to just figure out what else can be done with the Lubricate package and go from there. So when it comes to the first thing we're going to do is we're going to group by city. So whenever we're making modifications, we're just going to make sure that the modifications are based off of the city rather than all the data, the entire data set at the same time. So what we're going to do is find the weekday and just see that variable. We're going to collect the weekday. Hey, I'm going to call this mod 1, by the way. Mod 1. Okay. Because we're making the modification. And so when I run this, I should be able to, which I'm apparently not able to see what happens. So there's an error. Okay. It's unexpected inputs. That makes sense because I didn't put the function. So what I want to do is utilize the weekday function. Getting ahead of myself. Run the weekday function, and what all this, we're going to eventually do these, of course, but okay, I just want to see the weekday. Okay, so it gives me the different days of the week, so on and so forth. Today is the 15th, and so it should say Monday for the 15th, and it does pretty good. Okay, and tomorrow's the 16th. Oh, it goes back to San Francisco, but that's neither here nor there. But it worked for that one day, so we're good there. So what we can also do is find the first day of the week, and there's a function called floor date that allows us to actually do this. I'm going to uncomment this line, remove this, and then now I should be able to find the start of the week. So run this, and I should be able to see this at the far right. Okay, so I believe it starts on Monday, so we can specify the start of the week. If it's, we're looking at the 15th, I think by default it starts as Monday. Oh, it starts on Sunday. Okay, same thing when it says Sunday. So that's kind of cool. That's another function we can use. We could also find out the days from the actual start of the date. So this will be min. And so this is actually a really cool, thought. Just to be able to know how many days since the start of the experiment, or start of the data collection. So we look at this again. And so when we go to the 14th for us, which is the 15th, that's the 30 days ago. So we can do that as well. So some small little things, just so you all can see what some other things that we can do with the Lubricate function. So this temp range, we actually are going to use this function this variable to answer one of the questions. And what we need to do is essentially take the difference in between the max and the min. So we do temperature 2m max minus temperature 2m min. Okay. And then what this is going to allow us to do is to see the difference between the max and the min for each day. Okay. All right. And so let's say, for example, we look at 4974.3 minus 49.6, we get 24.7. So we're good there. So we have the range. And so this is for us to view the data. I'm just going to skip that for right now. But it's nice for us to know what some of these functions, what these functions do. So when it comes to the weekday or W day, it extracts. Okay, so W day extracts the day of the week from date. Okay, and since we said labels equal to true and abbreviation, it'll actually provide the label. So if we said labels false, or we didn't say this, it'll provide a number. And if we didn't say abbreviation, it'll provide the whole full Monday, Tuesday spelled out. Okay. And then last but not least, the floor date, which is a really cool function, if I can spell it correctly, allows us to round dates down to the start of the chosen time and unit. Okay, rounds dates down to the start of a time unit. Okay, so we're specifying the week start date. Okay, the week start date. So those are some functions that we can use. I've been in my office too long. Okay, but the main one we're after is range. Okay. With that being said, we're gonna also do a pivot. Okay, you should have seen those pivots in the previous videos, which is good. But let's actually have a utility behind it. So what we're gonna do is actually take. I'm gonna use mod 1 here. Please take note of that. I'm going to take the columns, temperature min and temperature max. Okay, I can just do this, reduce some, typos that can occur, put a comma in between them. As you can see, I'm doing that. And then the names, when I do this pivot, it's going to give me the names of the variables, right? I need to specify the name of the variables. I'm also going to call that temperature type. And then, and then values, I'm just going to call it the temperature. Okay. The temp in Fahrenheit. Okay. So when I run this, let me just put the city here. City, date, and temp type, and then temp F. Okay, and then finally we're going to look at the first 8 rows. And when I run this, I'm going to be able to temp type, let's just run this. I can do some debugging in front of you all. See what happens. Temp type does not exist. Okay, I embarrassed myself in terms of syntax. It's fine. It need to be in quotations. Okay, and if I run this now, no error. Thank God. Nice. All right, so what's happening here is that we are pivoting the data frame from being a wide format, right? This is wide in that each row represents a different city's temperature for each date. Okay. And then what we want to do is to have the row represents each city and the date, and whether it's the high, that's one row, and then another row is going to be the low. So that's what we're going to do with the long data frame. So if you look at this, each date appears twice to denote the high and the low. Okay, as well as other information, the precipitation, as well as the other date information. Okay, so that's what we have there. So what we want to do is because these names, temperature 2M max and temperature 2M min, is quite clunky. So what we're going to do is rename them. So when we say our temperature, our temp type is equal to, see in quotations, double quotations, to max, we're going to call it daily high. Okay, that's the daily high. And then when temp type is equal to max to m max, or min, sorry, that's going to be our daily low. Okay, so once I do that, I uncomment this, comment that. Now I have each row representing a date, a location, and the type, whether it's high or low, and the actual temperature that it was. This allows us to create our different visualizations in the way that we would like to display them. So when it comes to pivot longer, turns the to temperature columns into two tidy columns, temp type and temp, the actual temperature in Fahrenheit. All right, so stay tuned for the visualization video.